You're listening to Let's Stay Together Anime Break, the sub-series of Let's Stay Together where we talk about the 2019 anime Fruits Basket. I'm Ellen.
And I'm Kayla.
And today we're discussing Season 2, Episode 19, which is called There's Just No Way! Or last time wasn't called There's No Way, None, or whatever. I don't know. I feel like they changed the name in the subtitled name, at least.
Yeah. I feel like they're like, that's too long to put on our menu of episodes.
Maybe, I don't know. Or they're just like, I've rethought this now after this translation or whatever. It must be weird to translate something week by week if you've never seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Or challenging. Not weird, challenging.
Yeah. Because
then how would you know? Anyway, whatever. But it's fine. Today we're going to do our summary, spoiler-free discussion, and spoiler discussion like we always do.
Woo.
Woo! This episode covered This episode covered chapters 80 and 81 of the manga, and we covered this in our podcast episode number 42, which was called Things I Can't Give Up. The episode opens with Rin in bed. A hand checks her forehead for a fever. Rin opens her eyes, and she hallucinates that it's her mother checking her forehead and mutters, "Mama?" Her mother smiles, but the hallucination fades, and Rin realizes that it's Tohru there, smiling instead. Tohru asks how she's doing. Rin sits up and jumps away, and Tohru climbs on the bed and holds her shoulders. She tells Rin not to get up, and gently coerces her to lay back down. She reassures Rin, then steps out to get Hattori. This is bad, Rin thinks. I didn't want to get close to her. And then we cut to the opening credits. Dun dun dun. I mean, it's okay. It was just as sad as the last time.
A little less sad.
Slightly less. There's hope at the end of this one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah.
After the credits, Shigure and Hattori explained that Tohru found Rin in the living room, throwing up. Then she transformed into a horse, but obviously they couldn't take her to the hospital like that. He asks if Rin remembers, and she confirms. She remembers Tohru holding her. I had an unpleasant dream. How humiliating, Rin thinks, thinking of her parents again. Hattori says she needs to go to the hospital. She says she won't go. She hates them. She thinks again of her parents abandoning her at the hospital as a child. Rin scrambles and tries to make an escape out the window, but Tohru holds her back and she struggles against him. In the doorway, Tohru drops the food she was bringing to Rin and begs her to stop. Rin stops struggling and sits back on the bed. Hattori kind of helps her sit down, then closes the window. Rin, why not learn to take care of yourself, Shigure suggests, especially if you want people to leave you alone. What am I doing, Rin thinks. It won't end like this. Hattori leaves. He says he'll come back the next day. Tohru wonders why Rin came to the house. She looks so tormented, she says, face full of concern. Well, the truth is, Shigure says, Rin and I are dating. Is that true? Tohru freaks out and Shigure is like, I lied. I'm sorry. Consider the situation and who you're talking to before you start spouting nonsense, Hattori chastises. Shigure walks Hattori down the steps of the property to the end of the property, and he asks if it's okay with Akito that Shigure called him to the house. It's excusable, Hattori says. Things are tough for the lapdog, huh? He says. Completely ignoring Shigure's jab, Hattori says, Isuzu came to see you, right? Yep, that girl's desperately trying to find a way to break the curse. Hattori stops in his tracks, shocked at what Shigure said. By herself, Shigure adds. He walks past Hattori and explains that Rin comes around every so often because she thinks that he knows how to break it. What an absurd idea, Hattori says, and he looks out at the city below Shigure's property. An absurd idea indeed, Shigure says. But is it really? Back still turned to Hattori, Shigure says, Hattori, can you hear it? Hear what? He says. Wind rustles the leaves. Shigure looks over his shoulder and we pan up to the house. The sound of breaking, he says. Inside Tohru's room, what I can only assume is a fresh serving of rice porridge remains untouched. Yuki asks if Rin isn't going to eat it. Head under the covers still and not looking at him, she replies, I'll never forgive you if you contact Haru. He frowns. Haru told me you'd manage on your own. Yuki sits beside her on the bed and rests his hand on her shoulder. But let me tell you something, he says. Even now, Haru still loves you, Rin. He loves you very much. Yuki leaves. Rin sits up and stares down the food. Rin remembers talking to Haru about Tohru in the past. He thinks it's because of her that Yuki and Kyo have chilled out. Is she an extraordinary girl, Rin asks in the memory. No, she's pretty normal, Haru says. You'd understand if you met her. She's kind, he says with a smile. You're kind too, Haru. Too kind, Rin thinks. She feels sorry for kind people. That's why she didn't want to meet Tohru either. Rin remembers coming to Shigure's for the first time since she and Haru broke up. She ascends the stone steps outside the house but stops short when it comes into view. Tohru's into the living room, quietly folding laundry. A strong impulse came over me, Rin thinks. The memory is interrupted when Tohru comes back to check on Rin in the present. Tohru tearfully says that she'll be sleeping downstairs and not to hesitate to call her if she needs anything. She sets down a bottle of water that she's brought for Rin. Stop it, Rin says. Tohru is surprised. Stop trying to break the curse. You went to ask Cosmo about it, right? What are you trying to do? Do you look down on us? Pity our hideousness? None of it is your business. Kind people like you should just live in their kind world. Shocked, Tohru says nothing. Rin shakes with frustration, and she remembers Hiro asking, Are you blaming me? I'm not, she thinks, but this is the only way that I can get it across. I don't want kind people to be taken advantage of. Could it be that you're trying to break the curse as well? Tohru asks, and Rin snaps. I told you to stay out of it. Tohru leans forward excitedly. Isuzu-san, do you know how to break the curse? Shut up, it's none of your business. Rin grabs Tohru's shirt collar. Don't meddle. Don't interrupt me. No, Tohru says. I will meddle. Rin is like, what the hell? No, Tohru continues. I have things I can't give up, just like you. Shut up, Rin says. The argument is loud enough now that it draws Yuki and Kyo's attention, and they pop their heads into the hallway, which is the best scene in the whole episode. In Tohru's room, she continues, I have things that I can't give up too. That's why, shut up, shut up, shut up. There's no way to do it. Nobody knows a way. I can't free him. I don't know what to do, Rin says. Tears fall. Rin bursts out of Tohru's room and out the front door of the house. I hate this, she thinks. This is why I didn't want to get near her. She's the type of person who makes me feel like this. Like that time before. And Rin remembers again Tohru folding laundry and smiling. I wanted to run to her, let myself fall in her lap, and surrender my heart to her. I wanted to whine and complain about my weakness like a kid going to cry to her mom. And then I might be forgiven. I might be accepted. I couldn't do that. People like me lean on, yearn for, and take advantage of kind people. That's why I won't let you get involved. Memories of Haru flood Rin's mind. She trips and falls at the top of the stone steps outside Shigure's house. She buries her head in her hands. I'm fine by myself. I'll keep running on my own, she thinks. I don't care if others don't understand. I'm doing it right if people hate me. I'm fine on my own. In the present, Tohru approaches quietly from behind and kneels beside Rin. Even though I was so resolute about that, even though I decided to never cry, Rin thinks, Tohru reaches out to touch Rin's back, and she flips, buries her face in Tohru's shoulder. I'm sorry, she thinks. I'm going to lean on you. I'm so powerless. I'm so powerless. I'm sorry. Cloudy soft light paints the sky. At the top of the steps, like the edge of the world, Rin starts to cry on Tohru. I don't know. I can't do anything on my own anymore, she says. It's scary to be on your own, Tohru says, as she holds Rin. She remembers standing alone as a small child looking at a front door. It's scary to be alone. Tohru starts to cry too. The clouds clear and the last of the evening light shines through. Yuki, Kyo, and Shigure watch from the front door. You can't get up on your own strength alone, Yuki thinks. She should just let herself be cared for, Shigure says. But the important thing is, will you keep letting yourself be cared for, or... I realize Rin and I have something in common, Yuki thinks with a smile. The thing we yearn for. At school later, Haru says to Yuki that he was surprised when Rin swung the IV pole at him when he tried to visit her in the hospital, in which we see an amazing flashback.
I love the nurses that are like physically fighting her.
It takes two of them to hold her.
Yeah.
And Haru's in the background just like with the like a glaring kind of face or whatever. I got kicked out for being a detriment to the patient's health, he says, but he's just glad that she's lively. He tells Yuki not to worry. The PA chimes. Yoon Yoon, a familiar girly voice calls over the PA. Our meeting's starting, so come quickly to Kimi. Oh, oopsies. I mean, come to the student council room. Kimi made a mistake. Sorry, Yoon Yoon. But Kimi will be waiting, so come quick, okay? And the subtitles removed her calling herself by her first name, but the PA had hearts like pumping out of it when she was talking, so I accept. Yuki is aghast at the announcement. Kill, his fan club members think. He can't believe that she did that, and Haru points out that she's acting like a mistress goading the others on. So that's the type of girl you like, Yoon Yoon? He asks, and Yuki's like, don't call me Yoon Yoon. Kakeru pops out around the corner nearby and is like, oh, I found you. Yoon Yoon, hurry and come to Kakeru. Oopsie, I made a mistake. He really gets on my nerves. Yuki grimaces and sasses Kakeru not to call him that way over the PA, while Kimi runs to the fangirls. Kakeru says it wouldn't have taken long to find him if Yuki had a cell phone. Haru smiles at their little friend fight. Please take care of Yuki, he says, and bows to Kakeru. Kakeru is like, yes, sir, count on me to make your daughter happy. Haru leaves. Let's both put up a good fight, he says to Yuki. Yeah, I think I need to switch gears, Yuki thinks. At home that evening, Tohru says she's heard rumors that there will be fireworks and a campfire at the cultural festival this year, and Yuki clarifies that that's not true. Those kinds of things aren't feasible, and Shigure asks if they really aren't feasible. I mean, after all, Ayame had the whole school lit up. Using my brother as an example doesn't help, Yuki says, and Shigure goes on to explain that you have to shell out dough to be romantic. Tohru pops in and asks if they want some jello. She made a few flavors. Yuki remarks that she doesn't normally do this, and Kyo asks if she visited Rin at the hospital. Of course she has, and she says that it's perceptive of him to notice that. Kyo says he just had a feeling. Seems like you guess everything right about me these days, Tohru says. Yuki watches this non-flirting but definitely flirting exchange and then asks if Rin was okay when Tohru saw her. More specifically, did she swing an IV at you? Cute Tohru. Kyo were like, huh? While Shigure chows down on some jello.
There was like a horse neighing sound effect.
Yes!
Said that too.
Then they go on to be like, Kyo was like, nobody would ever do that. Or Toru's like, she would never do that. Kyo's like, nobody would do that. And Yuki's like, but she definitely did it. Yeah. Toru says that she did seem well, and Shigure apologizes about the whole Rin thing. Sorry for dragging you into her whole family troubles, he says, which he really should have said about 20 episodes ago, but whatever. Kyo bitches him for starting to eat without asking, but Toru slams her hands down on the table and says earnestly, it's no problem, not at all, never, by no means. Thanks, Shigure says. And allow me to feed you this jello as a token of my appreciation. Hey, creep, Kyo and Yuki shout. The argument fades out and into Toru's memory of holding Rin the other day, she cried. She so agonizingly clutched my hand, Toru thinks. It was painful. All I could do was hold her, and even so. We see Toru visiting Rin at the hospital. Rin lays in the bed, arm over her eyes. She isn't eating. It's all food that she hates. Toru asks her if there's something that she doesn't hate. Rin lifts her arm and looks at Toru incredulously. Jello, she says. She must have taken it all upon herself for so long, Toru thinks, tormented by the pain in her own heart. She remembers finding Rin in the living room and seeing Kyo holding himself in the yard earlier in the series in the same way. That's how she looked, she thinks. Toru visits the hospital again later, and Rin sits on the bed, hair tied back in pigtails. She's like, you're here again? But Toru freaks out and comments about how adorable her hair is like that, and Rin is taken aback and then immediately starts to untie it, and Toru is like, why? Rin says that she just had a checkup and it was easier to do it with her hair tied back. Toru excitedly says that she brought jelly for her, and Rin is like, you really brought some? What an idiot. Rin explains that she doesn't like eating in front of other people. She'll eat it later. Toru stashes it in the biggest refrigerator I've ever seen in a hospital room for her. It was taller than Toru. Did you see how big it was? This must be a luxurious hospital. It's the private Soma hospital, right? Soma General Hospital.
Soma General, yeah.
I think the whole series could be called Soma General Hospital with the amount of drama that we're getting these days, but...
Not enough evil twins.
No, I guess not. Not enough amnesia. Let me guess why you came to see me, Rin says. It's about the curse, right? I'm sorry, Toru says, completely taken aback, and Rin is like, huh? And Toru turns away and thinks, I completely forgot. I'm the worst. The very worst. What's with you? Rin asks. Outside the girls' chat, Toru explains that Akito told her that he's the god of the zodiac, and that the Junichi will live together at the same place, at the same pace forever. Is the bond with the Junichi called the curse? Toru asks. It's not like we have a memory of it, Rin explains, but God and the Zodiac members made a promise, probably long ago, to be together for eternity, no matter how many times we were reborn, to be together, never to be separated. We're bound by that promise to this day, though we don't remember the promise, the blood of the Zodiac spirit does. It may appear to be a beautiful bond to an outsider, but it's nothing but a chain if we feel burdened by it. That's why it's a curse. As they approach a fountain, Toru asks if there's really no way to break the curse. Rin doesn't know if Akito even knows how, and he wouldn't tell her even if he did. Rin thought that someone close to Akito would know, but Shigure says he doesn't. What about Kureno-san? Toru asks. He might know. He's no good. He only follows Akito's orders, Rin says. I don't really consider him one of us. Toru thinks of him sadly saying goodbye to her when she snuck around the estate. He can't be that bad. I'm going to see Kureno-san, she announces determinedly and stands to leave, but Rin grabs her by the ankle and trips her. Don't get all worked up by yourself, Rin says, and Toru's like, sorry. Why do you want to break the curse? What is it that you can't give up? What is it that's most precious to you? Rin asks. That's, Toru says excitedly, and a face flashes through her mind, but it's not her mom. Toru's smile falters and she can't say anything more. You don't have to tell me, Rin says. She stands. Just don't run off to see Kureno by yourself. Toru says that Rin shouldn't do things by herself either. I say we two become a duo. How about it? I don't need a partner as unreliable as you, Rin says, and Toru is like, but I'll do my best, my best. We transition to later that night. Toru lays in bed. She wonders why she couldn't answer right away when Rin asked her what's most precious to her. She dreams of the apartment where she'll live with her mom. It's nostalgic, she thinks, at first. The dream turns out to be the morning that her mother died, and her mother leans down and kisses her cheek, then says goodbye. No, don't go. You'll get into an accident, Toru pleads. In the dream, her mother slips out the front door. Don't go, come back! Toru wakes in her darkened bedroom at Shigure's. She pants. Mom, she says. At the hospital, Rin eats a jello that Toru made for her. You hide what lies beyond the door to all others, where you feel like you're silently edging toward a breaking point. If that happens, you can't recover. Rin thinks of her parents, then Haru. I hope someone like him will come to her too. Just like Haru was there for me, someone who will gently open that door. You can't help but yearn for someone like that. Someone who knows how scary it is to be alone, can't help but love others. She takes a bite of the jello and says it's tasty. At Shigure's house, Toru cracks open her bedroom door and looks down the dark, empty hallway. Always together, she thinks, then closes the door. And we cut to the end credits.
Yay.
Yay. This is why I was like, oh, it gets happy, but then it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I forgot not forgot that this happened, but I forgot that it happened at this very point in the story, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, 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 and she has the dream. Because it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where she it's like she wakes up and she's like, "Mom," and then like opens the door and it's all silent, and it was extra sad.
Mm-hmm.
I was really happy watching this episode, not because it was of the content, but because this was like the good part of the story where things start to get really juicy, right? We're getting to see Tohru's facade and deep love of her mother, and sort of the what seems like the not like the comfort around her death, but it seems like what's been happening is that she's been suppressing all of those feelings for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
And she's cracking. It's coming through. We saw it a little bit at the beach. We talked about it at the beach, I'm sure. But always this one cuts deeper.
Yeah, that kind of like dead-eyed expression as she just closes the door again.
You can see her one eye looking through the door, like, oh no, oh, not you too. It turns out no one's perfect in Furuba. No one's okay.
It's like Fruits Basket. Nobody's okay.
Nobody's okay. Not one of them is okay. So we have things to discuss this time. We had Shigure being a creep again. Can I say that? Is that okay? Both in the funny creep way and the creepy creep way. I do always love the joke where he teases Tohru about being Rin being his girlfriend, and she's like, "Really?" Like,
like how Tori's like, think about who you're talking to.
Yes, it's like, can you just think before you act? I do always like the scene. I forgot when people were asking about favorite quotes we were doing our finale manga special, but one of my favorite scenes is the one where Shigure is like, "Do you hear the sound of something about to break or something breaking?" I always liked that part.
Yeah.
Not because it, I think, has any profound meaning, but I just think it's interesting how perceptive he is about what's going on. Although he always has been, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had more Rin drama. Great. Good.
A little less, like, on-screen horrific parental abuse, at least. But...
yeah, we can relax knowing that we don't have to see more Rin on-screen parental abuse this time. Yeah. Although there was her flashback of her parents abandoning her in the hospital. So there's a lot of good Haru flashbacks. That was nice. And then Rin did eventually go to the hospital. So that was good. And of course she was healthy enough to swing an IV at Haru, so I guess she's doing better, which is also nice.
I enjoyed the bit when she like tries to go out the window and like Tori's like physically fighting with her.
Yeah, she must be really strong. They did mention that.
And just how he like resolutely closes the window afterward just made me laugh. It's like, not doing that again.
Nope. Tori's the only responsible person in the whole Soma family. Everybody knows that. I liked how he, when she stops resisting, then he also kind of like helps her settle down on the bed, which was nice and cute and thoughtful, I guess.
Yeah.
And then like resolutely closes the window.
Yeah. I also like how she like immediately stops struggling when Tohru comes in.
And panics. Tohru's always concerned when people are ill.
Yeah.
I think especially Rin too, because of the way that she found Rin. She has that scene after when Hattori's leaving and she's just like, Rin was so terrified. I wonder why she was so terrified, you know? I do think it's interesting that Rin knew about Tohru for a long time. There's like the scene of her coming to the house. One of the main scenes in this episode is when it's like the first time that she saw Tohru. And she also has that memory where Haru explains that like he thinks because of Tohru, Yuki and Kyo have like mellowed out.
Yeah, I feel like it's easy to kind of like lose the thread of the timeline and forget that like it's pretty recent that all this like Rin stuff has gone down. Like her
breakup,
getting pushed out the window and then breaking up with Haru is like fairly recent. Happened like a decent way into the series.
Right. Ever since we've seen her in this series, she's had the scar though, right?
So like it happened before we ever seen Rin, but it happened like a good bit after the series started. Like
probably because she first was up in like chapter or like that one chapter right before the beach, and she was in the hospital. So I guess the assumption is like that's from that time, maybe.
Yeah, because I think we get like mentions of Rin being in the hospital before we ever see Rin, and we get that whole bit with like Haru destroying the classroom because he got dumped.
Yes, that's right. That was quite a while ago. That was like around the beginning of this anime season, I think.
I think so, yeah.
So it was probably around then, because she broke up with him. But he said, I think they'd been broken up for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
At that point where he breaks the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like when you see like the flashback of Haru being like, oh yeah, Tohru's cool and she's, you know.
She's rad, yo, he said.
Yeah.
I remember it just like that. Yeah, that's
a rad chick.
Yeah, so it's like it wasn't that long ago is what you're saying. And she had met him, I mean, it was a little while before Tohru met Haru too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it hasn't been that long. It feels like it's been forever, you know, because of what with all the abuse and all, but I guess we didn't see when it actually happened, but that was when Rin saw Tohru the first time and was like, oh, I can tell that I'm just gonna cry all over you, so I can't get close to you.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like some of the way also this Rin's lines were translated in this versus like the manga also kind of made her position clearer too, where it's like, I don't care if other people don't understand, but like I don't want people who are kind to be taken advantage of, and I know that I'll take advantage of them, so that's why I try to like do things by myself or whatever.
Yeah.
It's also always interesting how Shigeru manipulates her by being like, don't you want to take care of yourself? Like
using his powers for good.
Yes, for once, yes. Well, then he goes and tells Tohru 5 minutes later that he's dating her. So using his powers for good.
But yeah, I always like how this whole thing just like recontextualizes all the behavior we've seen from Rin.
Yeah.
Up to this point.
It's like she's not standoffish. She's purposely trying to be standoffish.
Yeah. Like she says, it's like, if people hate me, I'm doing it right, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, she's trying to push away all the kind people so they don't get hurt. Which apparently includes Hiro, which is cute.
And also, I think Yuki, she like deliberately sassed Yuki many times straight to his face, including this time where he's like, oh, are you gonna eat? And then she's like, if you tell Haru, I'll never forgive you.
Yeah. And he's just like, whatever.
Okay. Anyway, by the way, Haru still loves you like a lot, so just some food for thought.
I feel like Yuki's like, have you met me? I have had way worse verbal abuse.
Rin, the thing about Rin is that she thinks she's being super mean, but she's like only being a little bit mean, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, good, I want everybody to hate me. And they're all like, we're trying to help you. Like many other people in this series, I think she thinks she's being successful, but
yeah,
that's not the case. Like we talked about how Akito thinks that he's like got everything under control. Mm-hmm. And Rin is like, I've got everything under control, but it's like, you really don't.
Yeah.
Oh, she's just trying to do good.
Yeah. It's like you're actively passing out and hallucinating. You do not have anything under control.
I like how she then goes on to say that Tohru would be an unreliable partner too. And it's like, what about you? Look at the mirror. Yeah. Which is also a wonderful scene that I guess we should talk about at some point. I don't know if we want to do that now, but that's fine.
They would be a terrible detective team.
Yeah, we did talk about that in our... Go back and listen to our manga episode about this. Because a terrible team. But they would get along.
Yes. Tune in next week for Fruits Basket becomes a buddy cop show.
Yes. I would like it. Mm-hmm. And then, like, Kakeru is, like, the psychic. The police psychic or whatever. So, they also have their fight. So it turns out that Rin and Tohru are going for the same goal. And Rin knows about it, which is also why she was, like, trying to tell Tohru to butt out of it. And then they have their argument. It turns out Tohru will not butt out of it. Mm-hmm. Will not butt out of it.
Will not meddle.
She will not meddle. Definitely.
We're like, no, I am going to meddle.
The best thing is that it's also in Keigo. So she's like, it's so good. I've never heard someone argue like that. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I love Tohru like very politely arguing, but definitely arguing.
But loudly.
Like, yeah, like she's raising her voice and
definitely
holding her position.
Which is great. Oh, every time in this part of the story, I'm always like, you did it. You did it. People who think that she's a pushover are wrong, and I've said it a million times, and I'm happy to say it again, but I do love this part because Rin is like, stop, and she's like, no, I refuse, like, straight to her face, which is wonderful. And Rin is like, what the hell? Like, like she definitely didn't expect that, which is great.
Yeah. I love the boys sticking their heads out in the hallway, like,
is everything okay? Like, I didn't think there'd be an argument in the house tonight.
Yeah, like, the manga showed them, like, hearing the argument, but somehow the animation of them both just opening their doors and like leaning out, being like,
And you can hear they have like their argument continues, but it's like muffled in the hallway, like everyone's hearing it, and they're just like, what's happening? I think it would be very unexpected to hear Tohru argue with someone, and then on top of it to be like, Rin is like the person who's been like passing out. Like, these are two people you don't expect to be like having a full on argument. Like, in the evening. It's really funny. And yes, then they poke their little heads out, and it's cute. They're probably like, what do we do about this?
Yeah.
It's not shown, but I'm sure they were making eye contact with each other, like shifty eyes, like do you hear this? Am I the only one? Shigure is nowhere to be found. He's like, let them argue it out. This will be great.
Yeah. He's probably just like, well, at least these two probably won't break my house.
Yeah, probably. Well, you never know. Rin almost jumped out a window, so she swung on an IV pole. It took two people to restrain her, so
yeah.
Sure, she could if she wanted to. I have a feeling Rin has more self-control than like Kagura or Kyo or Yuki, maybe. Yeah. At least past Yuki. Current Yuki probably wouldn't do it.
Although she did try to kick Tohru in the head in horse form. So.
Chaos. It's like, yeah, you could have died. No big deal. Yeah. But yeah, so then they have their argument, and then Rin cries on her anyway. It was futile in the end. Rin doesn't know that this is a shoujo yet, so.
Yeah. I like how they have her, like turn around and, like, cling to Tohru, like, before Tohru even touches her.
Yes. She's, like, her hand. It was hard to tell, I guess, in the manga if that's what was represented, because I think she, like, held out her hand, and it was, like, she almost touched her, you know? But then, yeah, Rin turns around and grabs her before Tohru can even, like, pat her on the shoulder.
Yeah.
It was so nice. We have another, I guess, confirmation of Yuki thinking about Tohru as a mother as well, because he's like, Rin and I wanted the same thing, someone to accept us, and no matter what, and they got it, which is good. I always also love this part with Rin because Tohru is also like, Tohru's like, I couldn't. So first of all, Tohru also cries when she's comforting Rin, and she feels like, it's interesting to me how she always feels like she couldn't do enough for Rin, and it's like, why would you think that? You know.
Yeah, I feel like part of it is that, like, obviously a lot of her own issues are kind of mixed up in this too, because like we see, like, in that scene where she's like, it's scary to be alone, and we see her own like flashbacks.
Yeah, she's standing at the door again. I think we've seen that imagery before.
Yeah, I think we've seen it a couple times this season.
It's still not clear what it's from. But something traumatic obviously happened to Tohru as a young child.
Yeah.
You know, other than maybe her dad dying or whatever. Like.
Yeah.
You know, just the standard trauma. But it's something, I think all these things are related together. So
yeah. There's
also the other important scene, of course, is at the end where first of all Tohru recommends that like they become buddy cops, and Rin denies her. And Rin also asks what's the most important thing to her, and instead of answering her mom, it was hard to tell who she was thinking about in the anime, I noticed. But it wasn't her mom.
I think, I thought it was supposed to be like Akito during the scene where he's talking about Kyo being confined.
Could be. It looked like Akito. That's why I was kind of confused. Is that what it is in the manga? I didn't bring my thing.
I think it was that in the manga, but let me check.
Might have been.
Flip. Oh yeah, I forgot it happens after the little student council interlude.
Yeah, it's pretty late in the episode. Sorry, we haven't talked about that yet, but that's also something to
discuss. And it's a longer interlude in the manga. So.
It is. I noticed they cut that. Are you upset? I mean...
Yeah, it's the same. Like, it's still hard to tell in the manga, but I think it's supposed to be Akito at the beach. The hair's too long to be Kyo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an even narrower panel in the manga.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. Okay. I'll send a picture.
Okay. No, I believe you. But I'm just surprised. But yeah, it's definitely not. Well, it definitely not. Whatever it is, and I assume that it's Akito, it's definitely not her mom. And I think we can tell that Kyo and Tohru are getting a lot closer. In fact, they have their little flirty flirt scene where they act. It's funny because Yuki's just like staring at them. It always makes me chuckle.
Yeah.
But he's like, what is going on? But then it's funny because they clearly don't think that they're flirting, but they clearly are.
Yeah.
Being real cute.
Yeah. And like on the more dramatic note, we also have her like drawing a direct comparison to Rin and Kyo that time when he was crouched.
Being sad. Yes. Being very sad. That was a long, long time ago. That
Yeah.
was the first season. It's probably... Yeah, I don't remember which episode
It's
it's in.
fairly early in the first season. It was like
It
before
is.
the Valentine's date, wasn't it?
It's this. Yeah, it's that
The
time.
double date.
Double date. Yeah, it is that time, but I forget what episode it is. It's probably in the teens, maybe. I forget. It is early on in the story. Oh, you sent it to me.
I did.
Wow. Yeah, it's much narrower.
Yeah.
It's only the bottom of the person's face and like one eye. It was like how Rin grabs her ankle to stop her from running away, which is also funny. Unrelated. Yeah. And they have this little conversation while like sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that happened in this episode. It kind of jumps around because there's like Rin issues, Rin and Haru, Rin and Tohru, and there's like Haru talking to Yuki at school. There's a student council part which we haven't talked about yet, and there's all like Tohru's stuff. Tohru talking to Rin, making the jello for Rin, which is nice and cute, and then also the dream that she has about her mom. So there's just kind of a lot that happened. We should talk about the student council stuff. I think it's time.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's not much more to say about. Well, Tohru thought about someone. I think it's Akito, from the beach, and we verified that even in the manga it wasn't even that clear. So
yeah.
But yes. And then, yes, in the second part of the episode, Yuki, there's some scenes at school, so Yuki has this conversation with Haru, and then the best part is when, over the PA, Kimi announces that they're calling for him, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's just a little interlude, but I guess it's nice that Haru finally saw Yuki with his, with his friends, and he recognizes that it's a step in the right direction for Yuki. So.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's like
it's cute.
It's like the bit on the class trip where like Tohru hears him griping mildly about Kakeru and smiles because he
same thing.
recognizes that he's making friends.
Like, oh, he made a friend. Haru goes so far as to be like, please take care of Yuki, which is great.
I felt like without missing a beat, Kakeru's just like, I'll make your daughter happy.
Yes. I promise to make your daughter happy. He also like changes his voice, which is really funny.
Yeah. Well,
also he imitated Kimi, which was also hilarious right before that. I want Haru to call him Yun from now on.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens, but I want it to happen.
Yeah. I think he's like, don't do that.
Immediately.
I cannot stand it if this comes into the family also.
Can you imagine Ayame calling him Yun? It'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I like how they added the little scene of like Kimi like cheerfully running away from the Yuki girls.
Yes, it was perfect. I like how they just the fangirls don't do like that much from now on in the story, but I did like how they have the little thing where they're just like kill. It's like the scene of them. That was also in the manga. It was funny.
Yeah.
I like them. I enjoy them more than I did when I initially was reading this / watching the first anime. Yeah.
They're much needed comic relief at this point in the story.
It's like, everyone take a deep breath before we get into the part of the next part of the episode where it's shitty for Tohru. Let's all like have a little chill moment. You're like, oh, it's gonna be fine from here. And then you get to the end of the episode and you're like, oh no. Yeah. Damn you, Takaya / anime team, for luring us into a false sense of security with the student council stuff. So we talked about Shigure and Hattori. We talked about Rin more and Haru, Tohru and Kyo when they're non-flirting, and Yuki and the student council. So that's everything that happened. Yeah, that's everything. I don't know. I felt like this was also a good adaptation again. There was like a couple nice things, like in the end of the scene where Rin's memory with Haru, it kind of like backs away from Haru. Like it kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. I think it zooms and pans away from Haru, which is nice. Like Rin is like distancing herself from him in that memory, and I think there were a couple other things. The sun came out again, which is again an obvious like thing, but I was always confused about that in the manga because it seemed like they stayed together like overnight or whatever, and I was like, that's kind of long, but it makes a lot more sense now. I was like, oh, it was the same night. I mean, I'm kind of, you have to make that assumption, but sorry, what were you gonna say?
And it's they made some like minor changes to like the order of events here because there was like some more student council stuff that happened in the middle. But they took that out, and I assume we're probably gonna do it later on.
Probably next time. perhaps.
But yeah, it makes sense to keep it more on the Rin and Tohru stuff in this episode.
It seems like if you had all that content too, it would be quite long. Like,
yeah,
like this episode, the Rin, those like chapters seem pretty long even without that stuff.
Yeah, it's basically like we have the like that first Rin and Tohru thing that like ends with them, hugging it out.
Yes.
And then it like goes onto like a full on like student council shenanigans chapter, and then it comes back to do like the Tohru and Rin at the hospital stuff and Tohru's issues.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we just kind of had the little bit of a touch of student council as like sort of a time transition thing, where they're like, oh yeah, she's at the hospital, she's doing good.
Yes.
And then move back into it, which I think worked well.
Yeah, and like the end, that stuff that Yuki says at the end and what Shigeru says at the end of that where Rin and Tohru are like hugging it out, that's the end of that first chapter, and I think you couldn't really remove that. Like, you shouldn't really remove that. So then you have to have the follow-up where Yuki's doing his thing at the student council and stuff after to cement that, I think. So it makes sense to have all those things that they picked, which is yeah. I assume they'll bring the student council stuff back later, shortly.
Yeah.
You're like, I can hope. One can only hope.
Yeah, I assume they would. There's some vital information in that part. So.
Yes. Yes, seems like something that might be good. They most importantly had Kimi calling over the PA, which is clearly the most important thing from that chapter. So
yep, can't miss that.
I was disappointed that in the subtitle they removed her calling herself by her first name, referring to herself in the third person, but that's okay. I knew.
Yeah, I mean, you can hear it.
You can, yes, you can.
Yeah, I don't think I've watched any of the dub episodes with Kimmy yet.
I haven't either.
So I don't know if they kept it in. Hopefully they did. I think that's a important part of
I think so.
Kimmy's Kimmy-ness.
I think I need to go on an expedition to like watch the dub episodes, so maybe I'll do that soon. But yeah, I hope they keep it in.
Yeah, I like went to watch like one of the like Aikido heavy episodes because I wanted to hear like
Aikido's
how they were doing Aikido.
Calling Klinkenbeard or whatever.
Aikido's Aikido-ness.
Yes.
But I haven't really watched any of the other dub episodes since then. So
I haven't either. We're falling behind on our duty as podcasters, obviously.
Well, they fell behind on their dubbing.
They can't keep up with us. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Listen, everybody
it's not like
fell
there are any
behind.
extenuating circumstances or anything.
No. For us, the extenuating circumstances are irrelevant because we already record remotely.
Yeah.
So as long as none of us have concussions again, it'll be fine. And there's no sports anyway, so
yeah,
that's not gonna happen.
No sports ever again.
No. At least not outside of your own house, I guess. Yeah. Or in a park.
Sports are canceled.
In a well-ventilated area. Okay, I don't have any other things to say about this episode except that I enjoyed it. So,
yep,
because I'm a Rin fan, and also it's just a good setup for all the things I think that are about to happen. This part is kind of like a transition part from the beach part to the next, like the last third of the story. So,
yeah, it's sort of like
that's why there's so much stuff happening.
Sort of the like congealing of everyone's like new motivations that were starting to spring up at the beach.
Like set up in the sense of setting up like Jello.
Yes, like Jello. Bring it around.
I get it. I got it. We're on the same. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay. Next time we're gonna talk about the episode. Next episode, which is called "Are You Okay?" So.
It's like, are you?
Are you? No. Is anyone?
No one's okay.
No one's
we
okay.
We talked about that.
Yes. But I don't have a concussion, so that's good.
It's good.
Yeah. It's a baseline for being pretty good, at least.
Yeah, it's both Fruits Basket, Nobody Is Okay, and the year 2020,
Nobody's okay. These episodes will stand in perpetuity.
Yes. Well, that's why I slipped the date in there.
Yes.
So.
This was recorded. The date
If anyone listens later, it's like, oh, I get it.
The date was August 15th, 2020.
Start
the sea was cold. Yeah. No, I was going for like a ship captain's log, not a spaceship captain's log, but yeah.
I just thought Stardate August 15th, 2020 would be funny.
It is Stardate 2020. Where's our flying cars and shit? Okay, thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Spoilers.
Yes.
Actually, most of the things that I talked about, we already talked about because we decided they weren't spoilers, like Tohru freaking out about people being sick. I guess there's, like, the thing with her mom that's still spoiled at this point.
Yeah, I think her, like, you know, the it's scary to be alone thing, yeah.
Yes.
Is... yeah, still
Spoilers,
upcoming.
spoilery. I was like, is what?
Yeah.
It is. Whatever it is, it is. Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
It's coming up. I really liked the way that they panned up on that, like, the sound of something breaking scene, pan up to the house, because Shigure's whole deal later is, like, I think the theory is, like, having everybody form new relationships that aren't just with the Junichi or with Aikido is what helps break the curse. So I think it is nice that he's kind of like, oh, like, in there, that's the sound of the curse breaking, I guess.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that part of the adaptation.
Especially as a new bond is, like, actually actively being formed between, like, Rin and Tohru.
While they're fighting. I mean.
Yes. It's the shonen way of making friends.
Yeah. I want it to be like you. I want it to be like you. That's later.
Yes.
I also enjoyed the.
It's like when Kagura's like we work things out with our fists, and they're like, that's a boy thing.
Yeah, I know. Definitely not a boy thing, but yes.
No. It's like it's a shonen protagonist thing.
That's definitely true. I can't think of another shoujo where people fight it out with their fists, where people come to fisticuffs.
Yeah.
They usually just fight it out with drama. That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
There was a very small allusion to the culture festival. Who's excited about Sword of Cinderella? Yay! Yeah, I forgot that was a whole. I was like, oh, they did mention that. That's good. But there was a whole other scene where, like, 3 people asked Yuki the same question, right? Unless that's in the next chapter, I forget.
It's in the stuff that
was cut, right?
Cut, I think so.
Because what happened was all the people were like, hey, is it true that we're going to do this? And is it true that we're going to do that? And then later at home, Toru was like, hey, is it true that we're going to do this? And he's like, like.
Yeah, I feel like they might still do that, just in the other way around. Yes. Where it's like he first heard it from Toru, and then like other people are doing it. And then Kakeru's like, hey, did my suggestion go through? And he's like, so it was you.
You asshole. They'll probably have to do it next time.
Yeah.
Next time, I think, is going to be the
door gets broken down.
Yes, he's going to get trapped in the closet.
Yes.
I can make that joke 2 more times, I think. Mostly because it's already old and everyone's already tired of it.
Yeah, you better save them for next episode.
Yeah, I'm going to. That's it. I've been saving it for this episode.
Yeah. But yeah, I imagine they're going to combine the student council stuff they cut this time, which had like the like Machi and Kakeru's relationship reveal and
yes,
some other stuff, and then combine that with Yuki getting trapped
in the closet, one might say.
Yeah. Yes.
It's literally a closet. It can't be helped. There's nothing I can do about this.
Yes. Then Machi breaking the door down to get him out.
Because she's a badass.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll also go into Yuki's flashback or if it's just going to be like set up and then the next episode will be.
I think with the amount of time of all the things we just discovered, it'll probably be them doing that next time.
Yeah.
How long till Sword of Cinderella?
We get the full Yuki trauma train coming up.
Yeah,
so.
Yay?
Yeah.
My face actually, normally I would like facetiously like question mark, but I felt my eyebrows quirk into a questioning face.
Sword of Cinderella gets announced right after
trauma. Yuki trauma. We're running short on episodes. It's episode 20, isn't it?
Let me see.
This one was 19.
Okay, we got in the manga. We've got the little student council interlude. We got the rest of the Rin stuff, and then we get the Sword of Cinderella announcement, and then it goes into like Yuki getting stuck in the closet. So it might also have the introduction to Sword of Cinderella next time.
And then there's like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and then Sword of Cinderella, right? But it has to be like really soon because then they're gonna end on the Kido reveal, right? You're like, why are you asking
Probably.
me?
We'll
Like,
see.
I know.
Yeah.
I can hear the pause in
they
your
could
voice.
probably do like sort of Cinderella could probably be like half an episode.
Probably. I don't think it's actually that long. How long did it?
Yeah,
When our recording was probably like 10 minutes. So.
and then like go into I could see them doing like sort of Cinderella and then like going into like Kureno stuff and like ending on like Kureno, like ending an episode on like Kureno hugging Tohru.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And then like maybe have his full reveal on the next episode.
Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah. There's a lot of this is also the part of the story where things start to get split up a lot. Like we said, there is that chapter, there's the student council stuff in the one part and then the Rin stuff in the other part. Like a lot of all the chapters kind of have multiple things going on.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of stuff that happens, but like not over a very long time span. So I could see them like, fitting it into the last few episodes because it's just like this happens and then this happens and then that happens.
Oh my god. Yeah. That's what it's like. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Is there any other spoilery things from this actual episode? I mean, there's more Rin stuff coming later, but
yeah.
It's not over.
Yes, Rin's trauma is unfortunately not over yet.
It's okay. I'm ready. I'm mentally prepared. I wasn't mentally prepared for the Tohru thing this time, but I'm mentally prepared for more Rin trauma.
Yeah. You'll forget it by the time it comes around.
You're right.
Like, oh no, I wasn't prepared.
You're right. I'll be like lulled into a sense of safety with sort of Cinderella, and then bam. Although I think that's much later, isn't it? Like
that's gonna be next
season probably. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we only get one dose of Rin drama per season. I see how it is.
Yeah, you gotta ration it out.
It's intense. You have to dilute it with some other things, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, does that mean we won't get any like Yuki Machi fluff until next season too? We're gonna have to wait so long.
Well, she saves him from the closet.
Just right. She's gonna be like, I thought you would get lonely in there. That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that there was someone on Tumblr who commented that like the Furuba announcements will be like, next episode is called like Tree, and then everyone in the fandom freaks out because they're like, the tree. It's like the one line where she's like, are you okay? And we're like, yeah. I'm like, it's love. Every time that happens now, I always think of that.
Like at the end of this episode, it's like, are you okay? It's like, we're back to the vague titles again.
But it was clearly Machi's voice, so.
Yeah, I knew where it was coming from just because.
And we know what's coming.
Of the timeline, but.
It should have been like, Kimi, come back to Kimi.
Yeah.
Or like, Kimi wanted to break down the door. I guess I would give it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I love the whole thing where they're like wanting to break down the door, and I was like, don't break down the door.
Like, nobody should break it down.
Yeah. And then he's like, I wanted to break it. He's like, nobody should have wanted to break it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, poor Yuki. It was important. They had to save him.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure that like the
save him from his dark flashbacks.
Yes, from paint fumes. I'm sure the administration of school is just like, this isn't the craziest thing that's happened today. Like,
yeah. Well, half of them are like part of the Yuki fan club too, so they're probably like, you're right. That was a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Half of them are part of the Yuki fan club too, probably.
Yeah. And the other half would be charmed by Kimi. So.
Probably.
There's no way the student council will get into trouble.
No, I can't think of any reason they would get into trouble. Also, Kakeru's like a Yame vibes. He probably just like tires them out, just like a Yame would too. So he goes in to explain what happened, and
he's like, "Let me tell you how and why. Yes, we had to break down this door."
Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Yuki. He says.
Yeah. And across the school, Yuki's like, "For some reason, I want to punch Kakeru."
Yeah, exactly. My punch Kakeru senses are tingling.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I agree.
It's like mine are always tingling.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, good. I don't have any other things to discuss.
Yep.
Nope. Oh, I'm excited for Sort of Cinderella.
I'm excited for Yuki trauma.
I mean, who
Not like
isn't?
in a happy way, but it's good stuff.
But then he'll become better friends with Kakeru. That's what you like.
Yeah.
There was some big Tohru Rin subtext in this episode too. I noticed. Rin is like, I want to give Tohru my heart, and I'm like, oh, do you? Is that the case?
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to get too close to someone like you, and she like thinks about Haru, then thinks about Tohru, and I'm like, oh, I see.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of gay moments.
In the
Which I approve of.
Best possible way.
Yes.
I was writing it, I was like, Yes, if only someone would help her open that door. Anyway, it was a good time. It's not really, I don't know why we didn't talk about that in the non-spoilers, but that's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is just between us spoiler people, which is probably everyone. I would get, or like 90% of people who listen to this, so. Okay, good. Well, now I really don't have anything else to talk about. So. I'm excited next time for people to smash doors and be sad. I mean.
Yep. In that order.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's be sad, then smash doors. Actually, no. Well, it's both, right? Be sad, smash door, then be sad.
Yeah, I think it's be a little sad, then smash the door, then be
Sadder.
really sad.
Yeah, okay. Good. Perfect. Sounds like a great time. We'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, let me know when you're ready and you have your burp secured. Meh. You got something to say?
I just put a towel over top of him and he's making all these noises now.
He's like, oh, finally someone to talk to. Listen, you'll never believe what happened.
Are you done?
Does he like see a ghost in there? Like it's like,
what you doing, sir? Hi.
You hide what lies beyond the door to all others. When you feel like you're but when you're hiding your true feelings. Where you feel like you're silently edging toward a breaking point.
I was just watching something recently where, I don't know, they were talking about like the past view of the future or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they said like the only like hoverboards we got like just made you look like an idiot and then exploded.
Do they explode? They have like a lithium battery or something? I don't know anything about them.
I think some of them like caught fire or something.
Oh, classy. I mean, there used to be cell phones that exploded and caught fire too. So you know, I think we're over the lithium batteries catching on fire days. I think we've all learned from that experience. We did get like basically like flat pieces of stuff with things that you like touch to interact with that like don't look like they have any buttons or anything like that, which
those are very very 60s sci-fi, all their iPads and iPhones.
Apparently it was cheap production effects to have a flat thing. So you know, whatever.
I do feel like a lot of the people who were behind like touchscreens were like Star Trek fans.
That's
probably growing up. They're like, I bet I could do this.
Yes. There's people who make like, you know, the crazy like pinching. Have you seen Minority Report?
No.
Okay, well. Are you familiar with Minority Report? The concept of
I'm
Minority
familiar with the existence of a piece of media called
Minority Report. Okay.
But I couldn't tell you anything about it.
There's this thing that he uses. It's about crime in the future, and there's this device that one of the characters uses to like look at evidence of a crime, and he just like uses his fingers. It's like in the air kind of, and he controls it. And people have made, using like stretch sensors and stuff, people have made like little like gloves things that you can like manipulate the interface with, so that too. Sci-fi is here.
Yeah.
Our fridges have Wi-Fi and shit.
Yes. every once in a while when I'm like doing something on touchscreen, because everything's on a touchscreen now, I think about
Yes.
like the terrible touchscreens in like the late 90s where like you like be smacking the screen
Oh yeah,
trying
where
to
it's
get it
like
to
squishy.
register. Yeah. Like I remember like playing with like the like make your registry machines in like Target or whatever.
Yes.
And it's like the touchscreen were terrible, but it was still like, ooh, a touchscreen. Like
Wow. I'm touching it. Wow.
and it eventually reacts.
I like it when the mouse is like in a completely different place from where you
Yeah.
touched. The only good touchscreen that came out of that time was the Nintendo DS, and then I loved how you
Yeah.
had people who played their DSs on like constantly, and then after a couple of years, you'd look at the screen and you're like, "What happened to you?" Like
Yeah.
the bottom screen where the
Yeah, so
stylus
you don't need to
crushed
press
it.
that hard.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
Gentle touches, people.
But I also think it's just plastic on plastic over like
Yeah.
3 years. It's just they're going
Yeah,
to
but
be
some of them are
scratched.
like you can see people were like scratching back and forth like really aggressively. It's like, guys,
Calm
ease it up.
down, calm down. That just reminded me. One time I was on the subway and I was playing an old ancient game on a DS Lite. I was playing. It's like one of those games where it's like a collection and it's all like rhythm games.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called? It was super popular.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe it was Rhythm Heaven. I forget. Elite Beat
Could be.
Agents.
I had Rhythm Thief, which was less popular but still cool.
Oh, it basically. I think it was.
But there were a lot of those like rhythm game
I think maybe I was
things on
thinking of
the
Elite Beat
DS.
Agents, but it was Rhythm Heaven for sure. But anyway, I was playing it on the subway. This is like probably 2018 or something, so much, much, much later after it was created. And this little kid was like watching me, and I was like, "Do you want to like try it?" And he was just like mashing the thing, and I was like, "Okay, well, I guess I can buy a new 3D or new DS if I really want to, but it doesn't matter." Anyway, just
Never finished Rhythm Thief. I should go back and finish that.
I was borrowing one of those like those like super illegal SD card like game DS chip things. One of my friends had one of those and I was borrowing it. I think I gave it back to that person, so I don't think I can play it. But it was fun.
British port for iOS devices.
Oh really?
Rhythm Thief.
Oh, Rhythm Thief. Well, then I can play it on my phone. Not that I spend a lot of time like commuting or anything these days, but whatever.
Yeah.
And that's why
I'd be like, I'll do it on my way to work as you like walk from the kitchen to the
get back
office.
back to exactly the front part of my house or upstairs. Yes. You could probably play one game while walking and not tripping.
Yeah.
It would take longer because you have to focus on the game.
It's like, oh, my 2-minute commute became a 5-minute commute.
Whoa. While carrying 3 cups of coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just me? Never mind. Anyway.
Anyway,
Fruits Basket. We can talk more about DS games. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It would just all be about Phoenix Wright, though, and like Trauma
Yes.
Center. Speaking
The
of
best
games where
DS
you had to carve into the top of the DS screen, like Trauma Center.
Yeah.
Everyone has like pentagrams carved into their screens.
I couldn't get past like the second like virus level. Like, you had like those all the startup ones were like,
Yeah.
remove the glass from this guy's abdomen and sew him up. And then they were like, what's this weird demon virus?
Like the plot,
And
you
the
couldn't play the plot.
Well, the difficulty spike was like insane.
Yeah,
Like
no.
from the first couple levels to those ones.
I honestly don't remember, but I also couldn't do very well on the later levels.
Phoenix Wright is great though.
Yeah. Well, that's like a point and click game. It doesn't require you to draw pentagrams on people or anything. I hope people have no idea what we're talking about.
One I really liked was it was by like the same people who made Phoenix Wright. It was called Ghost Trick.
Oh, I've never even heard of that.
It was somewhat obscure. I had to like hunt around for it to get it. But it's basically like you play like a guy who died, and then you're like his spirit, and you can like move around and like manipulate things, and then like you try to stop other people from dying and figure out what happened to you.
Phantom
It's really cool.
Detective.
It's kind of it's like a puzzle game because like you have different powers depending on like which spirit you are, because like you meet other spirits and stuff.
Oh. It's
Like you can just like move around and manipulate things, and then there's this other guy who can like switch like objects that are the same shape and stuff.
It's like a team RPG puzzle game. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It has a pretty good story. Like twist you won't guess kind of story.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I'd recommend it if you can find it in some form.
Probably find it on eBay.
There's probably like a
or a mod,
or like
emulator.
a port or something. Yeah.
Probably. When are they gonna start porting all this shit to the Switch? That's what I would.
Yeah, port everything to the Switch. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I want them to port Wind Waker to the Switch, even though I have it for Wii U. I don't care. Do it again.
Yeah, it's like I want Wind Waker on every platform that I own.
Pretty much. I want it on my phone. I want it on my laptop. I want it on my Game Boy. I want it. I want it now. And I don't care how. You're like, you did it wrong.
Don't care how.
I want it now. Mike loves to sing. He picks up the cats when we're like going to bed or going to another room, and he's like, "Come with me, and you'll be in a world of your imagination." And then sometimes he'll be like, "Meow, meow, 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 meow." It's really funny. I don't know why.
Like my whole life in my family, it's like if you're ever like jokingly being like really greedy, we'd be like, "But I want it now." Like that exact tone.
Daddy. Like, okay, Veruca.
Yeah.
Anyway, Furuba, did we even talk about it
yet?
No.
You're distracted talking about more DS games.
Yeah. That's because
the
DS was great. It was a good platform. And they did nothing they did fucked it up, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
All the things they did to it made it better, except for the one that had internet, I guess, because, like, I don't know, it seemed to cost a lot. But the DS Lite was great. It was like, how about we make it brighter and smaller?
It's still popular, like the DSi.
Yeah.
I didn't use it, but
I didn't either.
I know a lot of people were like, "Ooh, all these DSi games."
Yeah.
DSiWare, whatever they called it.
I don't know. I traded up to the DS Lite. That was my next trade up. I skipped the DSi. And then I got a 3DS, but I've played like 2 games for it, so.
The 3DS is good because you can play all the DS games on it too.
Yes. Not in 3D. No Phoenix Wright in 3D.
No. Anyway, Fruits Basket.
Anyway.